Hi there, music fans. Thanks for joining me today. I am jumping onto Rob Walker at Let the Music Plays contest thread for his 2 years in the vinyl community. Congratulations, Rob. I think that's fantastic. I hope to have 2 years in here at some point. I've had a channel for a while, a lot longer than 2 years, but I haven't been showing my music collection until COVID, really. Sometime probably in March or a little later than that, I started doing this. Um, and it's really cool. I've met some really cool people, and it's grown. It's just spider webs out, and it's really cool. I really have been enjoying it, showing my collection and seeing other people's. And Rob has a great idea for a thread for a contest, basically showing bands or artists you wish you had seen live. And he started with that. The intro to that is 2020 was a heck of a year. We didn't get to see live concerts. And so at first I thought he was going to go, who do you wish you would have seen in 2020? And then I thought it was maybe who do you wish you'd seen that's still around that you maybe can see. But it looked like there's no rules on it except for it has to be at least five and less than 10. So it sounds to me, and pardon me if I'm interpreting it wrong, that I could pick anybody. So I have picked some artists long gone. I've picked a bunch of artists, and I could have easily picked several in my Unsung Heroes series, but I thought I've just done all those, and I'm going to continue doing those, but I've done a bunch of those, and I wanted to do some bigger names that people probably have heard of and know, and yeah, that's basically it. But still, I have picked several artists that there's no way I ever could have seen because they were long gone before I was ever even alive. And I'm going to start there and move my way up to ones that maybe I could actually still see. And I could have picked way more than 10, but I narrowed it down to 10, trying to get relatively big names, mostly that people might know. So to start it off, Lightnin' Hopkins. I would have loved to have seen Lightnin' Hopkins. And was just a blues giant. He'll probably be in another series I eventually do on blues, or one of a couple series I do on blues. Um, and I just love his acoustic stuff. I love his electric stuff. I've loved him for many, many years. He's a fantastic player, very idiosyncratic and kind of quirky. And musicians have complained about not being able to play well with him, or that he's unpredictable because he changes timing and he doesn't do full measures and things like that, which I always find interesting. I've heard similar complaints about John Prine and other artists. And I know at least one person who that I've met and I'm friends with to a degree that's actually played with Lightnin' Hopkins, if you can believe that. Anyway, yeah, Lightnin' Hopkins definitely would be on the top of my list. And he is one that maybe people haven't heard of, but as much, but he's pretty big. Next, everybody I hope has heard of this gentleman. Um, he was country music's giant in the late 40s, early 50s, and that is Hank Williams. I would have done anything to see Hank Williams. There's a great movie called The Show He Never Gave, which is kind of a if he would have made it to that last show, and shows the show, and it's a really great movie. Sneezy Waters, I think, is the guy that plays Hank Williams. If you ever get a chance to catch that, and you like Hank Williams, I think it's a really great movie. Next, Creedence Clearwater Revival, who I just did a ranking video on. I've seen John Fogerty a couple of times, once in '87 or something, and once a few years ago, which was incredible. But I would have loved to have seen the original full band of Creedence Clearwater Revival. Next, the Faces, also pretty broken up before I was a toddler when they broke up, probably three or four or something. And I have seen the Rolling Stones many times. I have not seen, though, any of the Faces. I've not seen Rod Stewart. I've not seen Ian McLaughlin. He's sadly gone. I've not seen Ronnie Lane. He's sadly gone. No, I haven't seen Kenny Jones either because he wasn't with the Who anymore when I saw the Who. So the only person I've seen in this band is Ronnie Wood, several times, and I would have loved to see a Ronnie Wood solo show too. But yeah, the Faces, I think, would have been a lot of fun to have seen. Next, this is a band that maybe someday, but seriously doubtful. The Kinks. I would love to see the Kinks. I'm a big Ray Davies fan, and I saw Dave Davies a little bit at Bumbershoot one year, and it was so bad that me and my buddy walked out. Maybe that was a mistake. Maybe it got better. I don't know, but I would love to see the Kinks someday if I could. Which that's probably not going to happen. These are a little out of order, actually. Next, because this person, well, this person I could have seen, unless he didn't show up, which he was famous for. No Show Jones, the possum, George Jones. I would have loved to have seen George Jones, and I believe there was a time when I saw, it was since I've lived in Seattle. Even in the last 20 years, I've seen advertisements for his shows, and I didn't go, or and I don't even know if he made it to those. I don't even know when he died, sometime in the 2000s, obviously, but would have loved to have seen George Jones, the possum. Another one who I didn't know how into I was until after he passed, but I did like him and have some of his records, is Warren Zevon. I would have loved to have seen Warren Zevon. Yeah, fantastic writer, brilliant talent, and some wonderful songs in his catalog. Love Warren Zevon. Would have loved to have seen him. Now here's a band that I have seen, but, and here's another thing I could have went through, right? All the different lineups. Like I would have loved to have seen the Stones with Brian Jones, the Stones with Mick Taylor, but I'm not doing that. But this band, absolutely, I just saw them 2 years ago, maybe, without, of course, Dave Alvin. I would have loved to have seen the original Blasters with Dave Alvin. I have seen Dave Alvin more than once, and I've seen the Blasters now once, but I've never seen the Blasters with the iconic Dave Alvin in the band, and he really, between him and his brother, that's the band. Although this guitar player, I forget his name now, was fantastic, but I would have loved to have seen the Blasters, original Blasters. Now here's somebody that it's possible, seriously doubtful, that I'll ever see, but they're still alive, they're still making music, and they put out an album a couple years ago, and I believe they're still playing in Europe, of course. Several artists that I love in Europe that have defected from America that I would love to see, but Suzi Quatro. That might have been a given if you've watched my videos. You might have been able to figure that out ahead of time, but I'd love to see Suzi Quatro. Of course, I would have loved to have seen her in the mid-'70s, but anyway, I was pretty little then. And the last one, I don't know anything about their touring career. They're not from here. I don't know anything about when or if they come here, and I will do at least one video on them. But yeah, Jimmy Cliff. I would love to see Jimmy Cliff. He's still alive. He's still around. I don't know if he's playing or making music or what he's doing, but I think he's pretty defunct at this point. Not really, maybe retired if musicians get retired. Yeah, so that's it. So that's my 10. Thanks so much for watching. Check out Rob Walker's channel and check out his thread and the other people's threads. They're great. And I really appreciate you watching. I'd love it if you'd subscribe. I'd love it if you'd comment. And yeah, thanks so much, Rob, and congratulations. Have a good day, everybody.